once again, we're dealing with Gadlut Rishon. We're showing the Oros, the Mokin, and the etc. That we're going to get to the Kalim, the Levushim and the Kalim, as we are bringing in the Tselem. And the Tselem is a Levush. In my opinion, I said the Levush that covers over the Mokin. So on page Shin Kaf Gimel, so he showed us a picture of the Oros. The Oros, they're actually the same in the version of the RASHASH. I guess you would just say that they're in different places. So we had the Akias, the Havaya Aki, the Akia Havayas, which is common, and explained all that. And now we're over on page Shin Kaf Dalet. And we're going to take a look at, so what did we see over there? The first thing he says that comes in, apparently, is the Mem Detzelem. And the Lamed Detzelem. That's what it looks like. And then comes the Oros and the Mochim and the Levushim of the Tzadi Detzelem. And once again, we have, I'll just read, I don't know where I lost you, so I'll just read number Ches. Number Ches down below says like this. Let me see if I get all on the same page. 1 second. So it says like this. He says, Hachan de Mochen Benimian de Tzadi de Yasas. That's what we're bringing in now because we brought in the Laman and the men. And he says, Mochen de Benimian Hem de Tzadi de Tzelem. They're called by the name of the Tzadi de Tzelem. Shehem Nignasim Bibinimis is their anpin. They go, these are Oros from up above, or the whole panoply of lights that are coming from up above into Zeranpin. In the Benimius of Zeranpin, Vehim Shnei Hachan. There are two different Hachans that you see on this page. So this is Chochmah, Chesed, and Netzach. And he says there's two of them. Why should he have two? Two of them, one represents Yisrael Saba, and the other one represents Tavuna. That's what he's saying right now. He said, V'cheim shnei hachan. There are two hachans here, Echad the Yisrael Saba, Ve'echad the Tavuna. Number test, it says Mochin, then is Mochin. This is surrounded, these Oros that we're seeing here, which represents the Tzadi, the Tzelem, are actually going inside of Zer Anpin, but it's covered over by Mochin. And then the Mochin are covered over by Levushim. So the normal called Sama, which you would have the Tzelem in between, and that's what he's showing us. He's showing us the Tzelem coming in. So I'm not sure exactly how the other two got there, but they're there. And my question is really if this is the Tzlomim that we're seeing up above, and then you have the Mochin, and then you have the Levushim. Well, let's go on to number Tes. Number Tes says Mochin, and he shows us the Mochin, two sets of Avs. Shnei Shemos Av, Hein Mochin Shal HaGadlut Rishon Shal Moach HaChochma. So we are bringing Gadlut Rishon of Chochma here. Echad the Yisrael Saba, and there's two of them, and one for Tavuna. Then it goes into Levushim, so they're being covered over by Levushim. Levushim are the Kasas. There's two of them. We know the reason why there's two. Shnei Shemos Kasa, Heim Levushi al Shemos. They're Levushim for the Shemos. It's interesting, he has a word Shemos here. Shehem Shemos Akia. So let me just see. He says Shnei Shemos Kasa, Levushi al Shemos, Shehem, they are Levushim. I think that's what he means to say. I'm concerned about the word Shemos that he uses here. Levushia Shemos, which I guess are the names of the Oros. Shehem Shemos Akia. Shebamor Chochma Hem B'milui Yudin. In Chochma, they're going to be in the milui of what is Chochma, which is Yudin. V'hem Shnaim. Echad Yisrael Saba, and then there's one also for Tavuna. Going on. So now what have we done? On Gadlut Rishon, the Mochin, not the Mochin, he says the Gadlut Rishon, the Oros come in, and they come into we see the Oros, the Oros, and I guess what the sequence, I'm trying to think of what the sequence is. He says first you have the oros, then you have the slomim. Let's see, oros are called soma. Then you have okay. What I'm trying to get to is it's one fits inside the next, and the way he showed it is he showed that they were oros, and then I guess what you're dealing with, those oros actually represent the slomim, and then he has the mochin, and then he has the lavush on the mochin. That kind of order. Let's look at the next one. The next one says, where is this light going? Now that we put all this light together, it's going to the shlosh kelim, the chochma, the kachba, the bina, the zad. Ultimately, it's going to into Zeir Anpin. Now, why is it going to the bina, the zad? I don't have the answer to that, but that's where it's going. And it's going to the three top spheros of the bina, the zad. I think that from yesterday, I'm not sure that I remember it properly and I really understood it, that he says that there's also what are the names of the lights that go into it, and they're the lights of Nachi, of Neshama Yechida, because they're going into Kachav. I think that's what he said yesterday. Maybe I'll get more confirmation. So now he shows us the three Kalim. So we've looked at these things before, and Rabbi Memron said that you're not going to figure out the Kalim, why the Kalim go that way. I don't know. Let's look at number Yud Aleph. Number Yud Aleph, the Shlosha Kalim, the Chochma, the Kachav, the Bina, the Zah. So that's our phrase, and we have to work on it. It's Zeir Anpin in his Bina. And in that Bina, there were 10 spheros, and it's going into the Kachav of those 10 spheros of Chochma. So it says halavushim v'hatzlomim v'hamamochin the kav yamim. So let's talk about the lavushim, the tzlom, which we just saw, the mochin, which are in the kav yamin. Niknasim b'kelim shal chachan dezer anpin. That's where they're going to go. So sheyesh bo shlosha kelim, that in the chachan there has three kelim. So he says pinimim, emsoim, and kitzonim, which we see here is kli pinimi, kli emsoy, kli kitzon. Let me see if I didn't get lost, if I didn't make a mark. Gudolish, so he says, v'chitzon, v'niknasim b'chochma shal shlosha partsufim hagadlus shal Zeir Anpin, and they go into the three partsufim of Gadlus Zeir Anpin. Now here, once again, he's saying, I think I said it right. I don't know if I said it the way he's saying it. He says that these are actually three different partsufim, the kachav, shehem keser chochma bina. So it's going to go into those three partsufim. Keser is in the center. Behind the shenikda b'shlosha kli ha-chochma goes into the three kalim of chochma. All of these lights, the tzlomim, the lavushim, and the mochin and the lavushim are all going into these kalim inside of the bina of Zeir Anpin, kli chochma shel keser shehu yechida. So he's saying it again, and that the light of yechida goes in. V'shlosha kli ha-chochma shel ha-chochma shehu chaya. So v'shlosha kli ha-chochma shel bina, which is neshama. Shehem Shlosha Partsufi HaGadlus, these are the three Partsufim of Gadlus. We want to understand that you have to have a receptacle to take them, and that has to be the Kachav, he says. V'kol Echad Niknas Hachan Shalem. So each one of them, going back on that same idea that he said yesterday, that each one of them has its own Hachan. Shalem b'shlosha kalim shall call echad, and each one of them is going to have its own set of kalim, which I guess he's saying they look like these kalim up here. So let's see, call echad. V'kulam came rock parts of bina de Zeir Anpin, and all of them are only going one place. They're going to Zeir Anpin, but they're going to Bina to Zeir Anpin. Why are they going to Zina Beir Anpin? Should call Gadlut Rishon Nimshach Lebina Haklal is the Zeir Anpin, because that's where it comes from and that's where it goes. The light goes into the Bina. A klal is the Zeir Anpin, who parts of Neshama, also known as the parts of the Neshama, Mehachaza ad Atibra de Erik Anpin. So that's where this is located from the chest, the Zer Anpin and downwards. So in this, its state, that we're assuming that the Gadlut Rishon of Chochmah has already come in, the Shlosha Partzuvim B'Medimim, which are what? Kachav, Shehem Keneged Neshama Chaim Yechida, V'Hein Medregas Gadlut Rishon, and that's that Medrega. So we have also number Yud Beis. So he says in the it's Yud Beis. V'lahashir sham neranchi mochin the chochma. So neranchi, when he says that, that's the oros that we see, which is the ekyas and the havayas. Neranchi, and then the mochin, the chochma. He didn't say that Tlamim, whatever. He said v'lahashir sham. So we leave behind there a set of lights. The lights, the mochin that's around him, for Chochmah stays there, in Chochmah, in Bina rather. V'lahashir sham neranchi u'mochin the Chochmah. Let's see what the explanation of that is. He said, but the chila niknesucho kol mochin b'reisha the zer anpin. So we understand this. So all the mochin come into the head of zer anpin. V'filoch ha'mochin shetzrichen lehikanet b'chagad nai shelo. Even the rest of it, there's going to go down into further lower level of za after his rosh. V'achar kach nish'arim sham ha'neranchi u'mochin the chochmah the hainu. So then what happens is in that place, I guess, which is the bina of the way I understand of Zer Anpin, going into the Chochmah? A little mixed up, but going into the Kesser Chochmah bina of bina of Zer Anpin. So he says again, the Kesser Chochmah bina of the bina of Zer Anpin is where it's going. Kach nish'arim sham, and then you leave behind. Then is going to remain there. Haneranchi mochin the chochma the hainu hamochim haru'uyim the chochma shehem, which is the mochin that are roi for chochma. What are these mochin? Then the neranchi, that's the light. Shu havaya ve'ekya b'nikud patach. I'm going to have that. That's what actually belongs in this space, because we're bringing chochma in. A patach. So he says b'nikud patach neranchi. Echad liyisrael sabav and the ranchi echad l'tavuna. So there's going to be two lines, one for Yisrael sabav, one for tavuna. V'shar hamochim shel chesed netzach shehem havaya ve'ekya benikud segel v'chirik yordim. They're going to be pushed downwards. Yordim l'chesed. They all go into chesed, which is what we're getting to now. Being of a rock on the ranchis, but it's not just the neranchi. Shehema oros nimshachem b'seder the chiyas hazeh. It's not only the oros that are pushed out. Ela afa mochim v'lavushim, and other the whole thing, because the oros are not by themselves; they're surrounded. Zechav nimshachim gam came b'seder hazeh, so they also come in this order. So I am bezecha b'shefa RASHASH. So apparently there's more in the RASHASH, but I'm happy if we're just able to go through the simple RASHASH and see how it is that the cold summa is working. So now that you really have the cold summa up above you, in the shlosha kelim, the chochba, the kachba, the bina dezah, now we're going to take that and you're going to have to push what was in the top there downwards. Lidchos hachesed netzach l'shlosha kli hachesed. So right now I'm on page Shin Kaf Zayin. So what are you going to do? You're going to have to, everything that is not chochma is going to be pushed down, because he said previously that all of the mochin, we'll call it all the oros, the mochin, it said the cold sama is all coming down. It's new. And it's going to push what was there, which starts with chesed, right? Because Zer Anpin is a vok. So he says it's going to push the block v'ledchos hachesed netzach l'shlosh kli hachesed. So now everything is going to go into the kli of chesed, and once again we see the oros for chesed, the Orot's for Netzach, the Lavush, and then also and actually, I'm trying to think of what's coming through in my mind is I'm trying to understand the order of what he's showing us. He's showing us oros, the oros of Chesed and Netzach, and those oros. He's not showing us the Tzelem, or is he telling me that this actually is the Tzelem? Because I think we kind of saw that again, and the Tzelem is a form of lights. I don't know. Then the Tzelem fits into the Mochin, and the Mochin fit into the what does he call this? He said the covering over the Mochin, which is let me get this straight. The Mochin, which is going to be the Levushim. There we go. I'm trying to get my words right. It's all the Kol Sama. It's Kol Sama over and over again here. Shlosha Kli Chesed, and all of this is going to be pushed down into the three Kalim of Chesed, the Kli Panimi. Then we see the Kli Chitzon and the Kli Imsoy and the Kli Chitzon, like that. This brings us to number Yud Gimel. So number Yud Gimel says, he said, L'chos HaChesed Netzach L'shlosha Kli HaChesed. Now, everything that was not part of Chochmah is going to go here. SHAAR HaMochin v'Chanarangche Shel HaChesed v'Netzach Nidlichin L'Kli HaChesed. V'hem Havaya v'Ekya b'Nikud Segel. So we understand Segel goes with Chesed. V'Havaya v'Ekya b'Nikud Chirik v'Akshav Niknasim b'Chesed Gam HaChelek HaRoi. So now it's also coming into that Chesed, the part Roi L'Netzach, which is for Netzach too. So everything is bundled up and it's all coming together. Going to the next page, on page Yud Daled. So on page Yud Daled, he says Lahashir Sham, and so let me get this down a little bit. Number Yud Daled, he says Lahashir Sham the Rantchi, together with the Mochin, the Chesed, the Chos and Netzach, the Shlosha Kli on Netzach, and these are the Kalim of Chesed. He shows you two lights, because there are only two lights that we're dealing with, which are the lights of Netzach. One of them is going to be for the, they're both going to be menukad with the hirik, and one of them is going to be for Yisrael Saba, and the other one for Tavuna, and then we see the Mochin again, and then we see the Levoshim as well. So I'm still puzzled by the same thing. This, I think, the Ekyas are the Tzlamim. That's actually the light that's coming into Zeranpin. I'm thinking that, so haven't seen it otherwise. So all of this is going to go into the three Kalim of Netzach. Kli Pnimi, Kli Emsoy, Kli Chitzon. And basically, I guess it's something to look at, because we saw this in the Eitz Chaim, and it really didn't flush it out, the Kalim, that is. Number Yud Daled, he says, Lahashlim Sham the Ranki Umochin the Chesed. So we're going to complete these Mochin of Chesed, and they're going to have the entire cold summer there. Lidchos HaNetzach the Shlosh Kli HaNetzach. And as a result of that, it's going to push, I don't know how the push goes, but I guess the push is coming from the Ma'asel, coming from the top to the bottom as a result of Mayim Nukvin, the whole process that's bringing the Shefa down, and it's going to bring it to its ultimate end. He says, Narantki hashayach lechesed nishar bechesed, so that which belongs to chesed stays in chesed, and there's still more light. V'gam chelik hamochan l'shaychen lechesed nisharim sham, v'haroi l'netzach nidcha the netzach, and then that part, which is going to become netzach, is going to go into netzach. The Ranchi hu chavaya the Ranchi is depicted as a Havaya Ekya combo, which we already show. We're showing that all the time. Benikud Chirik. B'Shem is a Mochim Shehem Av and Kasa Shaykhem Allah. They're coming too. B'Hednidachin the Makomos, and they're putting into their address, this is the language that Rabbi Memran used, the same address down below. They're going to go into the Makom of the Netzach. So this, what we've read up until this time, just to verify this, comes with the chalos of the day. Gadlut Rishon Orot Saba b'Tavuna b'Kuva Makamin shegavora v'choya b'gedushas hayom, and we're going to say that we're already going to say here that this came in as a result of the day by itself. We didn't have to do anything. It just happens. So now we go to the next page. Next page. Let's just take a look at the next page. He has an entire in the visual, what they call the tamuna. He has the whole set of lights. Once again, lights, I guess, is if it's depending on where it is. These are the lights either of a makifim or of panimim, and he shows the mochin and he shows the levushim. Okay, so and actually, what you're getting into is from you're going in the cold summer. It's interesting that it's called cold summer because of the kaf, which is for kalim, is the last one. But it seems like what we're actually dealing with is the reverse. First, you get the akiyas and the havaya-akiya combination, which represents oros. And I'm assuming that he means these are the oros that represent the tzlamim, also going inside his Iran pin, must be covered by that salam. He doesn't show it to us. So I guess he doesn't show it to us. That's my thinking right now. And then it goes into the tzlamim, and then it goes to the tzlamim once you have, into the mochin. And the mochin are covered over by this levush. So that's what we have here. Then the shlosha kli chachma denuk, because now we're going to go over to the nuk. And it's kli panimi, kli emsoy, kli chitzon, always 3. So we have like a couple of minutes. Let's take a look at the what's written here by the I guess it's I don't know. This is the language of the RASHASH. I don't know who's writing what, but he's saying the language of the RASHASH. He says v'anta. So he says v'anta yekabed lahamshek lenuk nefashos. Mispar, these are all 4 different things. Malchios, so we're going to bring her the lowest elements, which is the nefashos, which is the lowest level of light. And the mispar apparently goes along with malchus also because it's something to be counted. Then he says the malchios. Now, I've asked you this before. Is this the word dumus or damos? Domim would be normally Demus, yeah. So I'm trying to understand what's pshat here in Demus. He wants to say, what does this have to do with Malchus? We're talking about Nefesh, Mispar, Malchios, we don't know that, and then he comes to Demus, because I guess when something forms up, it looks. I'm going to say this. So, and therefore it's like a Malchusdik aspect. So all of this is going to go into the Shlosha Kelim, Ahachan, the Kachbad, the Kachav, the Nuk. So we're going to try to get into that right line. We're going to get those oros that we are dealing with here. There's going to be 3 of them. They're going to be the top oros. I don't know which they're going to be. Chachma, of course, the right line, the Kachav, the Nuk. Okay, we'll go up into this point. We'll pick it up again tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem, and we'll get deeper into it. This is your very own Saba speaking at the Dagon Elevator Kolel.